Everything you need to know about products and services that can improve your life. This is Experts on Call on CL 650.
Welcome back to the program. Sterling Fox with you on Experts on Call, joined in studio by Jack McIver from McIvers Appliances at 610 Southeast Marine Drive in Vancouver and online at McIvers.biz. In business in our city for over 50 years. And Jack, you've talked about the fact that the customer comes first has been the ethic of the business since day one. And I'm curious about special customers or special needs for customers, because in addition to selling them the appliances and servicing the appliances after they've been sold, I'm sure along the way you've encountered a few, interesting challenges from customers who say, well, I like it, but could you do this for me? Tell us a few of those stories, if you have any.
Well, back in the 70s, a fellow came into the store and asked me if I could make a full-size stack dryer. And I said, well, there's probably only a couple that we sell that we can do that, because we have to move the top of the control panel down below the door because it's going up on a shelf above the washer.
Oh, okay, right, sure.
So he said, well, I'll buy this new Speed Queen here if you'll do that for me.
Do that customizing for me.
And how much do you think it's cost? And I said, about $250. So he says, okay. So he proceeded to do this, and it always takes longer when you're doing it for the first time. So I got it all done, and he bought it, and he was happy, and so we knew then we could do it. So in the 80s, we started, well, probably the late 70s, we started doing it to GE dryers.
Uh-huh.
And there were three, modern concrete high-rise condos made by a couple of different builders, and they both used the GE dryer with the console moved down, the control console moved down below the door,
okay,
up on a shelf, with a full-size GE washer with all the features on it. So that was like about 100 and some sets.
Oh, so after doing that first conversion.
Well, it was years later. I
right.
mean, it was, yeah.
But you already had one under your belt, and so.
Well, I had more than that. I mean, there were once in a while someone would want one, but then some builders that I knew heard about it.
Right.
And then they said, okay, what do we have to do with the closets? And so we gave them the instructions on what we needed. And
so you customized the units in every in the building.
Yeah, all the dryers. And then we also did some customization on GE coin-op dryers. We used to sell GE coin-op laundry equipment, and we also did those for older triplexes and that, where they not too much space for the washer and dryer.
Right.
Have them outside sometimes in a lean-to or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a lot of that, and there's many other things I could probably tell you if I could remember them. But
well, tell me the story about the lady in the West End with the carburetor.
Oh, okay. So she was having problems with her Well, it started off like this. Last year we sold her a Hibbs washer and dryer.
Okay.
And delivered and installed, and everything was okay except the vent hood was a plastic one that was half plugged. So I came back and I put a new vent hood in with a damper. And she then asked me about her carburetor, and I said, "What's the problem?" She said, "Well, it's not cutting. It doesn't cut up the stuff." So I walked over, and it's the same kind we sell, which are excellent carburetors. And I said, "Well, you don't have your stopper in there to keep the food from bouncing away from the cutters."
Oh, okay.
So if you don't have that little splash guard, it's called.
Right.
Then
the food just rises up.
It allows us to it ain't going out the wrong way.
Right.
So I sold her two, and they cost $1.95 each. Yeah. So anyway, she also...
So $4 got the carburetor all fixed up pretty well.
So she also had a fridge from New Zealand with a bottom freezer. Now, these fridges are touted as the most wonderful fridge in the world, but they're not very big inside. Like, they're shallow because they make the designers want this stuff 24 inches. Well, when you make a fridge 24 inches, there's no room inside it.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, I hate this fridge. I said, well, you need a deeper fridge. She says, well, what should I do with this one? I says, put it on Craigslist. How much you pay for it? She says, $2,200. I says, well, why don't you put it out for $15 and somebody will buy it because it's got a big rep.
Right, sure, yeah.
So I sold her a Frigidaire 21, which was nearly twice as much space.
Right, and for probably similar dollars too, right?
Oh, no. It was delivered, installed, I think it was $1,100.
I wanted to go back to the vents, the story earlier about the dryer and how you replaced, because this is something that you've mentioned in the past, and I was asking about dryers and if there's a problem, what goes wrong, and you talked about what happens internally in the dryer. But there's another dryer-related problem that is so common that I'm sure everyone listening can go, either that's happening to our dryer at our place right now, or it used to. And that's the whole business of buildup of lint in the dryer hose to the vent and the wall, and then what happens to the vent. Give us a couple of minutes on dryers and vents and how to fix them.
Okay, first of all, if you want to know if your dryer is working properly, you would take the hose or the pipe off and put your hand in front of it with it on.
And you should feel air forcing coming out.
You'll feel it, yeah,
okay.
Usually. Except in the odd case you won't, but if you don't, then you got to go further and it's plugged up down below. Venting can get kinked off. There's all types of things. So the first simple test is take it off, see how it works, just let it blow in the house, and if it works properly and everything else, you know the problem is outside or in the pipe that goes outside, or
okay.
the vent hood's no good, or it's got a screen on it or something. So then the idea is that you take it off, feel how it's doing, go outside with the dryer on, and feel and see if it's the same amount of velocity.
It should be pretty close to what
the same velocity.
Okay, yeah.
If it isn't,
something's
pull that
plugged up.
GD screen off that the handyman or whoever went and bought it at the big box store. They're no good.
Plastic usually.
Yeah, plastic. You want metal with a steel damper, keeps all the critters out and never plugs up.
Is it possible too that the hose from the dryer to the wall to the vent, I've seen them that sometimes there's an awful lot of hose material in there.
Well, you should
that
have
somebody's installed,
yeah.
But it seems like there's 20 feet of hose. How much should there be between the dryer itself and the wall?
Just enough to reach it.
Just enough.
Yeah.
Because you see it coiled up behind the dryer.
Well, the
sometimes.
guy didn't have a cutter to cut it off, I guess.
It's just that simple.
Or could have been a girl. I don't know.
Right. But no. So it was an installation problem,
yes.
or
this, Sterling, with the electricity increasing in price by 15% now,
mm-hmm.
right? In the past, a month now? It went up to 15%.
Yes, it did.
Okay. Now is the time to consider how much your dryer costs to dry, because it's just gone up 15%.
Right.
And it's probably if you use your dryer a lot, $20 a month.
Mm-hmm. So one rule of thumb though is, and if you're thinking about it, just listening right now, just think about the length of the hose that connects the air blower from the back of your dryer to the wall.
It loses the velocity by having to go around the bends in it.
And does stuff get caught up? Does lint and other debris also get caught up in the hose?
It more than it would if it was short and straight.
Okay,
yeah.
So that's the secret. Just
mm-hmm.
keep the hose to a practical length from the back of the dryer to where it has to go outside the house, and cut off anything that's extra.
There's more electricity wasted on improper dryer venting and exhausts and screens and all kinds of stuff that get put on than probably anything in a home.
Interesting stuff. Now, I need to take a quick break, but this whole business about the rising cost of electricity, causes me to think about a big selling feature by a lot of retailers of all sorts of appliances, and it's this whole business of energy efficiency. And we'll talk about that and how much attention should we pay to this aspect of buying appliances when we continue with the guru of appliances here in Vancouver, Mr. Jack McIver, on Experts on Call on CL 650.
There's still more ahead with Experts on Call on CL 650.